welcome back to Cool Fred's Garage. I'm about to do some routine maintenance on the big red machine, the 2016 Ram 1500. So you guys stay tuned. Go ahead and get this oil drained. So basically, while I got this thing in the air, I'm gonna go ahead and check the wheel bearings. I'm gonna check my tire pressures and all that good stuff. So this truck is a 2016 Ram 1500 with the 5.7 Hemi engine. Well, I'm gonna use is this Mobil 1 full synthetic. The truck calls for 520. But this is the only one of the 520 they had, so I got one of the 520 and also one of the 020. So I recommend this oil to pretty much keep down or keep the Hemi tick away, because a lot of guys complain about the Hemi tick. I changed my oil probably anywhere between 6,500 and maybe 7,000 miles whenever it pretty much lets me know to change it. But Mobil 1, I've been using this ever since maybe my 5th oil change, because I got 4 free from the dealer. But after that, I've been using this, and it's been highly recommended among some of the service members over at the Chrysler dealership. They recommend the Mobil 1 and or any type of synthetic. So knock on wood, this Mobil 1 synthetic oil has worked wonderfully for me over the years. The oil filter that I'm using is a Bosch 3334. I normally try to get the Mopar filter, but in some cases they'll be out of stock on them. So a substitute is this Bosch oil filter. I would always recommend getting some type of filter that is OE equivalent. Because the factory oil filter is your best option, but if you can't get something that's OE equivalent. All right, so I got the new oil filter in here, and I'm cleaning off the oil residue. So while I'm up under here, I'm checking for leaks, make sure I don't have any leaks or anything like that. So another reason I like changing my own oil is every time the three, I want to say I got four oil changes free when it was under warranty. It had the package for the for 4 oil changes. 3 out of the 4 oil changes, the guys at the dealership could not get the oil filter tight for some reason. I remember my first oil change, I did around maybe about 5,500 miles, and around about 7,000 miles, I started getting an oil leak in this power steering box area. So I had an oil leak right here. The oil was like leaking. I was thinking that this gearbox, this power steering unit was leaking. So I took it into the dealership, and they chalked it up to a defective oil filter. And then it happened to me 2 more occasions, but not as bad. But yeah, so has that ever happened to you guys? Have you taken anything with this Hemi engine in to the dealership, and they left the oil filter slightly loose or not tight? So I just want to know, I'm just curious. But pretty much I've been changing the oil pretty much on my own since maybe the 5th oil change. So I guess that's around 25 to 30,000 miles I've been changing it on my own. All right, so another thing is while I'm up under here, I like to you know, just check the undercarriage, make sure that is tight. I just gotta clean it off with some brake cleaner there. But I I know the Hemis have the issue with the exhaust bolts breaking and getting exhaust leak. This side has never been repaired. The passenger side, this side over here, was repaired under warranty, under my extended warranty that I had at the dealership. They also put a wheel bearing on the driver's side. So they put a wheel bearing on right here. So some things that I've done on my own is I replaced these sway bar links, these tie rod ends, and I replaced the front shocks and the rear shocks. So I got these KYB just the gas shocks on here. They work pretty good. I also had shocks replaced under my extended warranty around 75,000 miles, and they didn't even last. They probably only lasted maybe like 30,000 miles, but I like these a lot better. I'm gonna have to put a little bit more grease in this tie rod end right here. I believe these are the Mogs. This lower control arm on the passenger side is new because I started getting a tear in the lower bushing. And I've also replaced the upper control arm. So pretty much all the suspension under the truck, with the exception of the driver's side here, is new. So I'm keeping an eye on like these boots here on the driver's side. So whenever they get a tear on them, I'm gonna replace this control arm as well, the upper and lower. So far they're holding up pretty good. All right, so another thing I'm gonna go ahead and do while I'm up under here is I'm gonna service the rear diff. So the last time I did this service, that's why I wrote a little date and mileage stamp there on the diff cover. So last time I did that was like September 24th of 2020 at 75,000 miles. So I'm gonna do it again today. So this is like April 25th, 23. And I'm gonna remove this plastic cap and remove that carefully and get that out of there. And then it should just pop out. Hopefully I don't tear it, because I will have to get another one. But so it popped out okay. I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna clean that up, and so I'm gonna crack this. For you guys who don't know that, this particular rear end is, I believe, a ZF. It's made by ZF. I don't see a stamp on it, but a lot of these trucks have the ZF rear end in them. And this also has the ZF 8 HP transmission. Let me grab my tool. All right, so the tool that you're gonna need to complete this job is a 14mm Allen key. There's a little drain doohickey. There's a little drain plug right here on the lower half of the diff. So I'm gonna remove that. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. So in addition to the oil, I got this Diff Fluid. I have a little bit of this right here left over from last time, which is this Mobil 1 synthetic 7540. I purchased this right here for my job, some limited slip additive, because last time I used the Mopar one, but this right here, this brand of stuff here, this Mach, and also this brand of stuff here, this is a product that my job uses. So it's the same, it's full synthetic 75-140. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the rest of this Mobil 1 that I got, and I'm gonna put this limited slip additive in there, and then I'm gonna finish topping it off with that, so I can get the diff flush handled. Around the drain plug, when I go back with it, I normally use some of this this RTV. This is actually formulated for gear oil, this gasket maker. So I put a little bit of that around the threads just to prevent any seepage from the drain plug. All right, I'm putting the drain plug back in. Then I'm gonna tighten it up. I just want to get it nice and snug. All right, so the shop I work at happened to have a diff service machine right here. So basically, this can suck out and put in fluid. I'm going to be using it in my case to put in the fluid. But if you don't have access to a machine like that or any type of machine, you can use a pump from a parts store. But what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna put this limited slip additive in the diff. I'm just gonna squeeze it in there. Some fluids contain it and some don't, like that. Like this mobile one, that fluid happens to have it, but the new fluid I'm using. But even with that, I would still recommend putting a little bit of the limited slip additive in your diff, just because sometimes the fluid may not have enough of it in there. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna fill it up. All right, so next up, I'm gonna go ahead and activate the machine. And it's gonna, you can see the new fluid going in there. So basically, I'm gonna fill this in this fill hole until it starts to trickle out. So in general, these rear diffs normally use about 2.5 to 3 bottles of the fluid. I believe these are, like 1 quart bottles. So they generally take about anywhere between 2.5 to 3. I believe it's almost full. So you want to fill it until it starts trickling out from the fill hole. All right, there we go. So just fill it up until you see it running out of the fill hole. All right, so last thing I gotta do is just put my fill plug in. So pretty much that just goes in, and I'm gonna clean off this excess residue. The rest of this fluid that's kind of, I'm gonna clean that off, and I'm gonna take a little towel, dry it up, and I'm gonna put the current mileage, which right now I got 119K, and I'm gonna put today's date, and then that just kind of makes it easy for me to keep up with it. All right, so everything is underneath is done. All I'm about to do now is go ahead and put the oil in. All right, guys, real quick, I'm gonna show you guys how to reset the service indicator for the oil change. There's a couple different ways you can reset it. The easiest way I found is to press the gas pedal 3 times. That's the easiest way to do it. So pretty much you can see that I let my oil change interval get down to 6%. I normally like to change it before it gets that low. But one thing about using the synthetic oil is the oil, you know, the mobile one says it's good up to 10,000 miles. But pretty much I changed the oil according to the truck and how, based on your driving habits and stuff like that, it calculates the oil life. So in the owner's manual, it pretty much tells you in the owner's manual to change it when the oil life indicator recommended, but I believe it's somewhere around 7,500 miles is like the max. So I think I think it can go between somewhere between 7 and 8. I forgot the exact thing that it says, but it typically recommends that you replace it um, as recommended per this. So I'm gonna go through the menu. It's a couple different ways you can kind of I can press this reset button here and reset it. I think it. Let's see. I think if I press and hold that, it'll say confirm reset. So I can do it in the menu through the truck, or I can um, I can go the easy way. Now, when you do it by pressing the gas pedal 3 times, I'm just pretty much gonna 1, 2, 3. I think you got to do it within 3 seconds, and it'll go to 100%. And typically, that'll reset your tire pressure light and a couple of the other little things that need to be reset also. Alrighty, guys. What I want to do is I wanted to give y'all some insight on what I do to pretty much make my oil changes a little bit more economical. With today's inflation, seems like the price is always going up. So, if you're doing, especially if you're changing the oil yourself, you want to try to get the best deal you can. Now, if you really, really got to change the oil, and you don't have time to wait till parts come in the mail and things like that, then you just got to go on down the AutoZone and just get what you can. But typically, just keep in mind your local auto parts stores are they kind of operate like convenience stores. So things like oil filters, wipers, bulbs, like the main necessities, if they consider that a necessity, then you're gonna pay a little bit more for it. Because if your light is out, you in the parking lot, you need to put up a H4 headlight bulb in. Uh, you're gonna pay a little bit more top dollar because you might be able to get it cheaper on Amazon, but you're gonna have to wait a couple days to get that. So typically, that's how auto parts stores work. A lot of times they will do oil change specials. A lot of times you're gonna pay more for the essential things, like the stuff I just mentioned, and a lot of times they may have sales on tools and car wash products and things like that. But typically, what I do, um, I'll purchase my oil at Walmart. Um, the Hemi takes about 7.5 quarts of oil with the filter. Um, Most time I buy 2 of these. This right here runs about well, what it cost this time. I paid $26.99, so I bought 2 of them. There's about $54. The reason I just go ahead and buy 2 of these because if you buy one of these for the $26.99, the individual quarts cost about $9 to $10 a piece, and pretty much by the time you buy, because you're gonna need at least 8 of them to do that oil change. So it's kind of more economical to buy 2 of these. And what I normally do is I'll use one full jug and half of the next jug. So pretty much what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this to the side, hold on to it for my next oil change. This is another 2.5 quarts. And the next go around, I'll just have to buy one more of these right here. And typically, I buy my oil filters from Rock Auto. I typically try to go with the Mopar oil filter, or pretty much like whatever I'm driving or whatever I'm repairing. I normally try to get the factory style oil filter because that's what works best with the car. But if you can't find a factory one, like in this case, they were sold out of the Mopar one. So as a substitute, I run this Botch. But Botch makes a lot of OE manufacturer stuff. So Botch is a trusted brand. I've also used the Denso brand. This right here is the Botch 3334 oil filter. So I'm gonna take it out of the box and look at it real quick. So it's very similar to the factory style oil filter. Like it has the I guess that's a magnet or a drain back valve, whatever you want to call it, that's in there. But this is pretty much just like the factory OEM filter. So you want to use something like that. Typically, this filter runs about uh, like at your local auto parts store, it runs about $10. On Rock Auto, they're about $3.80. So a lot of times, what I do if I'm ordering other parts for other cars, I just throw a few of them in the basket. So if, if it doesn't change the shipping too much, I'll put a few of them in the basket. This time, I went on and ordered another 3 filters. So that's kind of one of my ways I kind of keep the oil change as economical as I can. Now, if I'm kind of in those rushes, like in a pinch, and I didn't, let's say I ran out of my stock of filters, and every now and again you just got to go to AutoZone or Advanced. But if they don't have the Mopar filter in stock, you want to make sure you get something like a Botch or a Denso, something that's very close. I mean, it's nothing against Fram and STP and all of that, but I just like to run uh, something that's close to the manufacturer filter. All right, so this right here is gonna wrap this video up. Thanks for checking out another episode of Cool Fred's Garage. Thanks for hanging out with me while we do the maintenance on this on my 2016 Ram 1500. So we did rear diff service, oil change, and just kind of showed you guys how I normally go over and just check different things up under the truck, kind of similar to what they would do if you took your truck into the dealership for service. Um, so showed you guys how to reset that oil service light, I guess they call it an oil life um, indicator or whatever, because it goes from like 0 to 100%. So be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time. Thank you.